Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Knowles, and this math lesson focuses on introducing fourth grade students to the hundredths place. We're going to be using the area model that we've been using to represent the tenths place, and we're going to be focusing on representing and comparing tenths and hundredths. So, the area model we're using for one unit is a square, and then we are dividing up that square today into 100 little pieces, and we call those hundredths with a th. In the lessons prior to this, we've been using tenths. So tenths would be represented in 10 of these stacked in a column or a row, and hundredths would be one little cube or square. Again, 100 of them would equal one whole unit. A great concept to use with students or your children is money right now, where one would be $1, tenths would be a dime, and hundredths would be a penny. That'd be a great thing to work on with your kids if you have time. Let's get started. In the past, we've been working in tenths, and we've been using a visual model like this, where we have one square, it's equal to one whole, and we would cut it into 10 equal pieces or strips or rows or columns, and we would call those tenths. And we would shade in a certain number. And in this example, this is 6/10. And we were learning how to write that in three different ways: as a decimal, 6/10, in word form, 6/10, and as a fraction, 6/10. Well, now we're going to be working in hundredths. On the right, we're taking the same number, 6/10, but now we're going to represent it as hundredths. So now we're taking that same whole unit and we're cutting it up into 100 equal little pieces, and we call those hundredths. So in this example, there's 60 of them shaded in, and we would say that's 60 hundredths. Here's the word form, and here's the fraction. And notice there's an equal sign here because they are equivalent to each other. 6/10 is equal to 60 hundredths. Here's another example. We have 27 squares or hundredths shaded in. And we could write it kind of in this partial number word form. I'll call it word form, 27 hundredths. Here's the fraction. And here's the decimal form. I just have it inside a place value chart. So we have no ones. That's because we do not have one completely colored in yet. So it's less than one. We do have 2/10 shaded in. So over here, there are two entire columns shaded in. So we'd say that's 2/10. And then we have 7 hundredths. So there's 7 of these individual hundredths shaded in, and altogether there's 27. And notice it's 27 hundredths. Notice that 7 is in the hundredths place value, and that's how we would say it, 27 hundredths. And a lot of people will say, well, that's 0.27, Mr. Knowles, or 0.27. And the correct way is 27 hundredths. That's how we should practice saying that for math. So let's get to the directions of your assignment. The first thing I need you to do is what you're doing right now, is watching this video, and keep watching it so you understand the directions for your assignment, because it's not written this time. So make sure to pay attention for the rest of the video. Step 1, we're going to practice on a website called Hundredths Expressed as Decimals. So I'm going to click on this. You might get this little visual here. It says click to enable Adobe Flash Player. You're going to click on it and hit allow. And hopefully it works for you. If it doesn't, let me know. And you're going to build some things on this grid. So up in the upper left-hand corner is the problem. Model 12 hundredths of the grid. So you can select two choices down here. You can get a tenth or a hundredth, your choice. So I'm going to put a tenth in there because I know that's equal to 10 hundredths. And look down below, it tells you that that's 10 hundredths. And all the three different ways we've been learning how to write and say them. And I'm going to add two more. That's 12 hundredths. That matches the question up here. I click on this and I got it correct. So I'd like you to do, up here is how many problems there are. I'd like you to do all 10 problems of this. I'm going to close this out. After you do that, then I'd like you to do your assignment, which is relative size of hundredths. So I'm going to click on that. Excuse me. And again, you might have to enable the Adobe Flash. You'll notice at the top it says problem 1 of 50. I just want you to do the first 10. You're more than welcome to do more, but just do the first 10. And we're going to do two things here. There's two directions here. Model the decimals shown, then choose the correct comparison. So I'm going to build seventeen hundredths first. And that's 17 hundredths. And on the right, I'm going to build 2 hundredths. And then that's step 1. Second step, choose the correct comparison. Well, there's a question mark here. You click on it and you have a choice, less than, equal to, or greater than. And I believe it's greater than. 17 hundredths is greater than 2 hundredths. I can see that visually. This has way more shaded in space. So keep this page here, keep this tab open. We're going to go back to the slide. And number 3, enter assignment answers on Google Form. We're going to click on that. It's opening a new tab. So now we have 3 tabs open. And this Google Form is you're going to put in answers for the first 10 problems of that relative size of hundredths website. So I'm going to go back, reread this. 17 hundredths is greater than 2 hundredths. You might want to write it down. That's up to you. And I'm going to click on this Google Form tab that says relative size of hundredths. And the first problem, we have to choose one of these drop down choices that matches that. 17 hundredths is greater than 2 hundredths. I believe that's what it is. If you're not sure, just go to the other tab and check. 17 hundredths is greater than 2 hundredths. And that's what I selected. The first 5 problems are these drop down menus. The last 5 problems, problems 6 through 10, you have to type in the answer of the problem, the number that is greater in that problem. So let me show you what problem 6 looks like. So I'm going to skip to problem 6. And I have to build this. I know that's the first thing I have to do. So I'm going to build these 2 models, 4 hundredths and 26 hundredths. And then after I build it, I have to decide which one's less than or which one's greater than, or are they equal to. And it looks like 4 hundredths is less than 26 hundredths. So I'm going to click on that. And then I would hit this arrow to see if I'm right or not. But I believe I'm right. So the number that's greater than is this 26 hundredths. So I'm going to go click on this other tab in the Google form. And again, that was problem 6. So for problem 6 and the other problems, 6 through 10, we're going to type in our answer as a decimal, like that. Okay, so that's how you're going to do your assignment. Don't forget to complete all those and hit submit. And then in Explore and Do, you also have to click on Turn In too. So don't forget that. And the last but not least thing, it's getting blocked by that stuff. So let me exit this. Last but not least, number 4, work on happy numbers for at least 60 minutes by the weekend. I really want you to keep working on the happy numbers. I think this is a good website and it's definitely helping you with your math skills. If you have any questions or get stuck on anything, please ask me. Thank you.